Russia is now accelerating the mass production of the so-called Terminator BMPT, a heavily armed combat vehicle designed specifically to support main battle tanks on the front lines of Ukraine. According to TASS news agency and analysis by Genèse Defense Weekly, the move represents one of the most significant escalations in Moscow's military strategy since the full-scale invasion began in 2022. Recent footage released by the Russian Ministry of Defense on its official YouTube channel showed long convoys of BMPTs maneuvering across Ukrainian terrain, firing missiles, autocannons, and grenade launchers with intense firepower. Ukrainian outlets, including the Kyiv Independent, have already described the Terminator as a dangerous new threat to infantry and lighter armored vehicles that lack the armor protection to withstand its twin cannons and missile salvos. What began as a limited experimental deployment of only a few prototypes has now transformed into an ambitious plan for industrial-scale production at the massive Uralvagontsavod facility in Nizhny Tagil, with estimates suggesting Russia intends to build hundreds of units per year. The timing of this expansion is no accident. Independent trackers such as Oryx have documented more than 2,400 Russian tanks destroyed, abandoned, or captured since February 2022, and the Kremlin appears determined to prevent similar losses by introducing a vehicle tailored for survivability in urban and complex battle environments. This decision is rooted in decades of painful lessons. During the Soviet war in Afghanistan in the 1980s, convoys of tanks and armored vehicles were decimated by Mujahideen fighters armed with RPGs and portable missiles. Later, in the First and Second Chechen wars, Russian armored units once again suffered catastrophic casualties when they attempted to operate in cities like Grozny without proper infantry or specialized support. Tanks, for all their power, were simply too vulnerable to ambushes from windows, rooftops, and narrow streets. Russian military thinkers concluded that a dedicated escort vehicle was needed, one that could protect tanks from threats tanks themselves were not designed to handle. This gave birth to the concept of the BMPT, short for Boyovaya Mashina Poryachki Tankov, literally the tank support fighting vehicle. While development started in the late 1990s, skepticism inside the Russian defense establishment and chronic budget shortfalls delayed full-scale production for nearly 2 decades. Only after the Ukraine war, when Russia's tank fleets were mauled by modern Western weapons, did the project receive urgent approval. The BMPT itself is based on the chassis of the T-72, one of the most numerous and reliable tanks in Russian service. Instead of a single large-caliber main gun, the Terminator carries a versatile mix of weapons: 2 30mm 2A42 autocannons, 4 Ataka T-guided anti-tank missile launchers with a range of up to 6 kilometers, a 7.62mm coaxial machine gun, and dual AG-17D automatic grenade launchers. Its 5-man crew includes a commander, driver, gunner, and 2 grenade launcher operators. The result is a vehicle capable of engaging multiple targets simultaneously across different ranges and elevations. Weighing 48 tons and powered by a 1,000-horsepower diesel engine, the BMPT can reach 60 kilometers per hour even in rough terrain, keeping pace with tank units it is meant to accompany. Russian military commentators have labeled it a tank killer's nightmare, arguing that Javelin and NLAW teams will be suppressed before they can fire. Yet Ukrainian commanders counter this claim, stressing that the BMPT remains a large and easily identifiable target for artillery, drones, and precision-guided munitions provided by the West. Battlefield evidence shows mixed results. In Luhansk, Ukrainian reports noted that BMPTs were used to spearhead armored assaults and proved effective in suppressing infantry hiding in trenches. But at least 2 BMPTs were reportedly destroyed by Bayraktar TB2 drone strikes, illustrating the vulnerability of even heavily armed vehicles to modern aerial threats. The psychological dimension, however, cannot be ignored. Facing a machine bristling with cannons and missile launchers, Ukrainian soldiers describe the intimidation factor as real. In war, perception often matters as much as raw performance. When compared internationally, the BMPT stands out as unique. Western militaries typically rely on infantry fighting vehicles such as the American M2 Bradley or the German Puma, which provide both troop transport and fire support. None are dedicated purely to tank escort duty. In many ways, Russia has created a platform Western armies do not yet field, though concepts like Israel's heavily armored Namer infantry carrier come close. Whether this difference becomes a true battlefield advantage remains to be seen. For the Kremlin, the strategy is clear. By mass-producing the BMPT, Russia hopes to reduce tank losses, increase the survivability of armored formations, and demonstrate resilience despite sanctions. Yet the economic burden of large-scale production cannot be overlooked. Western sanctions have crippled Russian access to high-tech components, forcing Moscow to rely on smuggling, imports from Iran, and a clandestine supply network through Central Asia. Military analysts at Rand Corporation warn that while Russia may announce ambitious production numbers, the actual number of fielded units will likely be far lower. Each BMPT is expensive, requiring not just the base T-72 chassis, but advanced optics, fire control systems, and missile launchers. For a Russian economy under siege, sustaining such output will be a major challenge. Globally, the consequences are significant. The United States and NATO planners must now account for the BMPT in future operational scenarios. If it proves successful, it may force revisions in urban warfare doctrines, prompting countermeasures involving drones, loitering munitions, and smart artillery shells. Countries like China and India, already experimenting with advanced armored platforms, may see in the BMPT a template worth replicating. Turkey, with its growing defense industry, could also pursue a similar design for export to its partners. Russia itself may seek to export the BMPT as a symbol of innovation, targeting markets like Belarus, Syria, or Iran. Such exports would not only bring revenue but also extend Russia's geopolitical influence, embedding Russian technology deeper into allied armies. Still, experts caution against overestimating its impact. The BMPT does not solve Russia's larger problems: poor logistics, weak training, low morale, and battlefield attrition. No single weapon can change the course of a war already defined by drone swarms, satellite-guided artillery, and Western intelligence support for Ukraine. As noted in Military Watch magazine, the BMPT is best understood as part of a wider adaptation, not a silver bullet. Its presence may buy Russia more tactical flexibility, but it will not guarantee strategic success. Ultimately, the world is witnessing a transformation in Russian ground warfare doctrine. From traditional tank-heavy formations to more integrated combined arms groups supported by BMPTs, Moscow is signaling that it is willing to change decades of Soviet-era practice to survive in modern war. The Terminator has become both a symbol of desperation and determination. Whether it shifts the balance in Ukraine or fades into history as another failed experiment will depend on how it performs in the months ahead. Viewers, what do you think? Will the mass production of the Terminator BMPT change the course of the war in Ukraine, or is this simply a desperate gamble by Russia to mask its tank losses? Share your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you never miss our latest analysis on global defense and geopolitics.